challenging quarter for us because of the pandemic, especially the months of April and May. They were very difficult since we had some of the segments that we supply here in Brazil. They were very impacted by the pandemic. But we are able to increase our exports. We have a very strong base of clients in more than 30 countries that we export paper. And we are able to increase the exports and offset somehow the impacts that we had in the domestic market. So we had a very good quarter. It was, as I said, challenging since we had to maintain our operations working throughout the whole quarter. We had to put almost 300 people at home office in the beginning of the pandemic and maintain all our operations working with several measures to maintain the employees safe and healthy during the pandemic. Although it was challenging, I think we had a very good moment for the company since we had to challenge ourselves to overcome the budget throughout this period, and we are very much satisfied with this. And I would like here to thank all our employees that have been working at their homes and also in our operations to keep our operations working and having the good results of the second quarter of 2020. Going straight to the numbers, our EBITDA of this second quarter was 55.6 million. It is 19.1% above the same period of last year. So it was very good since we were able, as I said, to compensate the sales that were not strong in the domestic market with more exports and taking advantage of the exchange rate that is very good for exports nowadays. This month we held a public offering of shares, and we raised 409 million and 5 million reais in this public offering. And this is a major step for the company since we were planning the public offering for several years already, and we were able to issue the new shares, and now we have a 42% of free float and this for us was a re-IPO, as we call it. It was a follow-on, but for us it was a re-IPO. And this money will be dedicated to our investment plan. The funds needed for the expansion plan is 1.2 billion. But with this 405 million is the capital that we need to start this plan. And this plan is basically in investments that will make the company much more competitive, since most of the projects, they are in our current platform. We are not expanding too much capacity, but we are developing projects that will increase our competitiveness and decrease costs. So we are very happy to do this. We were planning to do this investment plan in 2 years. We are in a deleverage cycle, but we will be able to start the projects right now. So this will make money for our current shareholders, and for the shareholders that are coming in, we'll have a very good upside with this project. And here we would like to thank all the new shareholders of the company. We commit ourselves to do the best we can to overcome the returns of the projects and make the current operations work and improve the results every month. We also decided to migrate to Novo Mercado within 6 months. This is the commitment we made with the market. We were not able to do that before because we didn't have the 25% free float that is required to migrate to Novo Mercado. After the offering, we have 42%, as I said. So we'll be able to migrate to Novo Mercado. That is the highest governance level at B3. Our net operating revenue, it was 241.1 million reais. It is 7.2% above the revenue that we had in the second quarter of 2019. So it was a very good increase. This is a mix of the impact of the dollar in our revenue and also the prices that we were able to increase in the first quarter of 2020. The first quarter was very, very hot, especially in the corrugated packaging business that was 7.5% above the first quarter of last year. And this opened room for us to increase prices, either for the corrugated packaging business and also for the paper for packaging business. So every year we start our increase of prices in the first quarter, but it takes some months to conclude this process. But this year, since the market was very hot, as I said, we were able to do that in the first quarter. So this helped us a lot as well. Our financial leverage was 2.94 in the second quarter. It's 24.4% less than the leverage we had in the second quarter of 2019. We are in a deleveraging cycle, as I said. At the end of 2019, our leverage was 3.4. So we're able to deleverage 0.5 points in one semester. So we are in a very fast deleveraging cycle. And we also have what we call a pro forma net debt adjusted EBITDA that was 2.16. This is when we consider some money that will enter the company in the next 18 months based on one fiscal credit that we are compensating every month of about 6 million per month. This is a process that we won, and that it was a process based on the not considering ICMS. ICMS is like an IVA here in Brazil. We don't consider this in the base to calculate PIS/COFINS, and this was a thesis that many companies have already won processes, and were able to do that as well. We also had some sales of assets that we have some money to enter the company as well. We sold a forest asset to CMPC at the state of Rio Grande do Sul. And we have already received 88 million reais from these sales, but we still have 4 million to receive this quarter. And we also discontinued one operation. It is a corrugated packaging conversion plant that we had here in the capital of São Paulo. And we discontinued this operation that was not making money. And we sold the land, and we'll be able to receive this. We received part of it, but we have still 40 million to receive throughout the next 20 months. So when we consider the sale of assets that we have already done and this fiscal credit, our net debt adjusted EBITDA pro forma, as we call it, is 2.16. And this is below our target in our financial policy, that is 2.5 times. So we are in a deleveraging cycle. So that's the reason I mentioned that we were planning to deleverage the company to start the investment cycle that we are starting now after the public offering. So we'll be able to accelerate this and have the returns much before the time that we would have if we had to do that with our own cash generation. The investments in the second quarter were 14.1 million reais. It's basically the maintenance capex. The maintenance capex consider all the capex in our plants and also for our forests. So it was in line with our budget. When we, well, going over the numbers again, so when we consider net revenues, it's plus 7.2%, as I mentioned, 240 million. This is, and the exports represented 26.8%. As you can see, we increased 3 points in our exports due to the pandemic. And as I said, the sales in the domestic market were not so strong, and we were able to export more, taking advantage, as I said, of this, the current exchange rate. We had a profit of 15 million reais. This is very good, especially when we consider our historic track record that we had losses before. And this is basically because of the major changes we did in the company in 2019. As I said, we sold some assets. We also had this fiscal credit, and we discontinued the operation at Vila Maria, the plant that we had here in São Paulo capital. And all these measures that we took in 2019, they are helping the company to have better results. And we also issued a green bond of 505 million last year that we are able to restructure all our debt. And now we're not considering the exchange rate change in our results anymore, since our debt is 94% in local currency. So it was a very good month in terms of profit as well. Our EBITDA, as I said, 55.6 million, 19.1% above the 46 million we had in the second quarter 2019, with a 23.1% EBITDA margin. That is also very good considering our track record. So we had a very good month in terms of sales and also in terms of costs. We took several measures to reduce costs during this quarter, especially because of the pandemic and the uncertainty that we had in the beginning of this quarter. We didn't know the extent of the crisis and how it would affect our results. So we took several measures to maintain our operations working and keeping our costs at the best level possible. So we increased almost 2.3 points in our EBITDA margin from one year to the other. When we talking about the corrugated container board packaging business, that represents about 55% of our revenue. So it's in terms of revenues, it's our largest business. The market in the second quarter, ABPO, that's the Association for Corrugated Container Board Packaging here in Brazil. So this is basically the market. And the market in Brazil, it went down 3.2 points, 3.2%. This quarter as compared to the second quarter of 2019. And in terms of square meters, it was 3.4% less than the second quarter of 2019. In ANEEL, we did much better. So our numbers were 0.5% less than last year. And in terms of square meters, it was 0.2% above the volume we had last year. So if we consider that we were in a very, very difficult time, these numbers, they are very, very good, especially when we compare to other segments and to other sectors in Brazil. And our prices, they went up during this period 2.6% in metric tons and 1.9% in square meters. So it is close to the inflation we had in this period. So when we talk about the corrugated container board packaging, we had two segments that were very good during this period. One segment was the food industry in general. People, they consumed more during this period, since it is much more fragmented to buy food from their residences than buying from restaurants. So we had an increase in terms of volume of packaging for the food industry. And also the chemical industry, did very well since people had to buy more products to clean their houses. So this is also a segment that was very good during this period. So these two segments, they represent about 80% of our sales in the corrugated packaging market. And they were able to compensate the segments that didn't do well. When we go to the paper for packaging business, that is the paper that we sell directly to converters in Brazil and also internationally. About 30% of this business we export, and 70% is for the domestic market. During this quarter, we exported more, as I said, to compensate some segments that didn't do well. Two of the segments that were impacted by the pandemic were the segments that we sell paper for shopping bags. This almost closed totally because this paper was basically dedicated to bags for shopping centers and for stores in general that were not able to open in the beginning of the pandemic. And also paper for bakery bags, that we are leaders in this niche here in Brazil. We have about 70% of this niche, and the bakery shops, they most of them were closed or had much less clients during this period. So we were very much impacted in these two segments. And as I said, we compensating selling more to international countries, to other countries, and especially to Asia, that we were able to sell to China and to other Asian countries to compensate the sales we didn't have here in Brazil. So sales, they went up 21.1%. And when we consider paper for sacks, we had a decrease of about 2,000 tons when we consider the same quarter of last year. And the container board, that's basically paper that we produce for corrugated container board packaging. We increased about 2 times what we sold last year. And this is basically because of the discontinuity of our plant at Vila Maria, as I mentioned. So we're selling more paper to the market since we didn't have capacity to get all the volume from Vila Maria. We made an expansion at our plant in Indaiatuba. That is a plant here in the state of São Paulo as well. So we increased the capacity, but this increase was not able to take all the volume that came from Vila Maria plant. So we had to sell more paper to the market, and also we had to export some of this paper during this quarter. The average prices, when we consider paper for sacks, the prices were 3.7% above the same quarter of last year, and container board was 5.4% above on the prices of the same quarter of last year. So a very good increase in prices. And here is a mix of, as I said, price adjustments in the domestic market, and also the level of the exchange rate that is much better this year than it was last year. Basically, do you want to make any comment here, Henrique?
Yes.
Paper for package.
Yes, good morning to everyone. Just a compliment. After the shopping malls had closed in Brazil end of March, before starting the pandemic, we were already market leader of paper of bags for delivery in terms of restaurants. And this volume had doubled in 2.5 months, which means that now in already June, we will be able to fulfill the machine that we were missing orders in April and May, mainly because of the iFood consumption, also corner shop and other kinds of website, of web business like that. That's the only complementation.
Yeah, I think this is a very important point. We will be stronger after the pandemic since we were able to increase our volume of sales to tele-deliveries, and that were much higher than was before. So now the shopping centers are opening, and we increased our sales to shopping bags, but we keep the sales to tele-delivery. So this is a very important point that will make our business even stronger for paper for bags. We have developed a special paper for shopping bags in Brazil that we call Bagcraft. That is a mix of virgin fiber and OCC. That's old container board. Old container boards. What is the other C? This mix is very attractive to the market since we have the certification of FSC also in this paper. So it is very attractive, and we are market leaders in paper for packaging and for shopping bags, and also for tele-deliveries here in Brazil with about 40% of market share. And when we talk about container boards, there is one major trend also that came from the pandemic, that is e-commerce. E-commerce is also a very strong segment that is growing very fast. It was not very important until before the pandemic. It was growing. It was growing very fast, but not as fast as it is growing now. People are buying much more. Consumer is being exposed to buying from over the internet, and this is making this segment grow a lot. And this makes all the corrugated packaging business grow, since the packaging is going to the end consumer. It used to go from the industry to the retailer or to the wholesaler, but now it's going to the end consumer. So it's making the market even bigger. So this is a very strong trend in the container board packaging business as well. And the last business that we have, that is Rio Grande do Sul, RS is State of Rio Grande do Sul Forests and Resins. We sell gum rosin and turpentine to exports. They are basically exports, and they are dedicated to chemical industry, perfume industry, and in several countries. We're able also to sell to Asia during this period, much of the volume. And our sales, they went down only 0.4% as compared to the second quarter of 2019. And average prices of gum rosin, they went up 17.6%. That's basically the increase of the exchange rate from second quarter of 2019 to 2020. And the average prices of turpentine, they went down 39.8%. This is basically because before the first semester of last year, we had one operation that produced gum rosin and turpentine in the world that exploded some years ago, and we had less offer of turpentine and gum rosin in the system, and so the prices, they went up. And since this operation came back last year, in the second semester last year, prices, they went down to historic levels. So this price now is basically the prices that we have historically for turpentine. When we talk about our debt, our financial situation, our gross debt was 786.9 million. So if you consider from the end of last year, in one semester, we were able to decrease our debt in about 52 million reais, with a cash position of 108.2, and deleveraging based on our better results in terms of EBITDA, and also paying off some debt. As I mentioned, our leverage was 2.94, and the pro forma debt, as I talked before, is 2.16. So our leverage is going down very fast, especially now with all the measures we took. We are deleveraging the company, opening room, as I said, to this new investment cycle that will start right now, since we held the public offering of shares. And as you can see here, since 2013, we had a leverage close to 4 times, and in 2016 it went up to 6 times. It was a recession period, so our results, they went down. And then we are deleveraging the company, and now in a faster way. And with the public offering, now we will be 1 time leverage after the public offering. And if we consider all the money that we have to receive the next 18 months, it will go down to 0.6 times. So the company is totally able to start this new investment cycle. Edvan, do you want to make any comment here?
Only to reinforce the leverage of the company, especially after the offer, as you said, in pro forma terms, now we are at the 0.6 if we consider the money came from the offer and the cash of the company.
Okay, and as I mentioned before, our 94% of our debt is in local currency and 6% in foreign currency. So we have a totally different profile as we had last year, and before issuing the bond that I mentioned, 505 million reais, that we were able to pay off all the debt in foreign currency. And this makes our position much stronger, since we don't have to consider the changes in exchange rate in our results. Long-term debt, 72%, short-term debt with 28%, and it will be much better after the public offering as well. And here we brought to show especially the investors that entered the company, considering the upside from the projects that they are in this new investment cycle. We basically have 5 projects that we will start as fast as possible. We have the most important one is the expansion of the chemical and utility recovery. This is basically the recovery boiler and also all the investments around it. We have the second project is the expansion of the packaging unit that we have in the state of Santa Catarina. That is our most profitable converting unit for corrugated packaging, since it is next to our paper mill and in the middle of a cluster of meat companies in the state of Santa Catarina, the western part of the state of Santa Catarina. We have there JBS, BRF, Aurora, Seara, Frimeza, all the meat companies, important meat companies in Brazil. They are located in this region, and we basically serve these clients there, and they are demanding more packaging, and we will expand this unit there. Basically changing equipment, we'll change the main equipment that is corrugator, and also one of the flex self-folder gluer machines for boxes to increase capacity. We will also renovate paper machine number 2. That is the machine dedicated to paper for bags. This is the segment that I mentioned that is doing very well. And we are increasing, we are expanding this machine as well. We will also repower 2 of the small hydropower plants that we have. And this will decrease the cost of energy. After this project and these 2 projects, the company will be 100% self-sufficient in terms of energy, increase the capacity of paper machine number 2 to the segment that is growing very fast, and also expanding this unit. And we will have the same fixed cost in a much higher capacity. So the cost per metric ton will decrease since we will expand this unit in about 50%. And we have an owner for each of the projects. That's basically the business officer. So Henrique Zuckman is responsible for the projects in the paper business, that is pulp and paper business. So he is the owner of these 3 projects. And also Lindomar, that is the officer for the corrugated packaging business, is responsible for the expansion of the packaging unit in Santa Catarina. We also have project managers for each of the projects. So the project owner, he's responsible to guarantee all the resources for the project and to oversee the project and how it's going. And we have the project manager, that is the executive responsible for managing the project in all terms. So he is each of these managers will be responsible for the projects, and they are very strong technical people that have been working with strategic projects for several years already. So we have this investment committee that is basically an ordinary committee that we have for investments in the company. We have monthly meetings, and it's composed by the management team, by the strategic projects manager that is linked to the CEO of the company, and planning and controlling manager, the supplies manager, and the finance manager. They are the members of the investment committee, and also all the project managers and the owner of projects that will come to the committee to approve projects, to tell the committee how the projects are going throughout the development of the project, and also closing each of the projects to check if the returns were in line with the returns that we had in the planning of the project, of if they were below or above, and how and why they were below or above. So we want to understand everything that happened in the project. So this works very well. It's been working, this investment committee, for more than 10 years already. So we have a very disciplined committee that we have meetings every month, as I said. We also have an executive committee for this investment cycle, since these projects are very important and we will invest a lot of money on this. So we want to have this one committee dedicated to the projects that will have weekly meetings. That's basically the business officers, the owner of the projects, the owners of the projects, and the strategic projects manager that is responsible for these major projects in the company, planning and controlling manager, the supplies manager, and the health, safety, quality, and sustainability manager. Since we have to be very careful, because we have a lot of people in our facilities during the development of the project, so we have to be very careful about the safety of the health and safety of all the people that will come in to develop the projects. We also have a PMO that is a PMO that we started about 10 years ago, and this was a PMO that we had Falcone helping us to develop this, and we have all the methodology to plan projects in detail and to follow the projects throughout the development of them, and also to as I said, to check the returns if they were in line with the returns we had planned during the planning of each project. So the PMO will guarantee that all projects will be working in our methodology, and also making all the reports to the investment committee every month. We also have in the project team people from several areas in the company. So from supply department to the legal department, health and safety department, and all the areas that will have interface with all the projects. So we have this governance for the projects, and we want to make this very transparent to the market. We will also have all the development of the projects in our website. So we'll have people, or the investors can follow the projects in our website to see how they're doing and how they are performing as compared to the planning, and if we'll be able to finish the projects before the time that we committed. So we'll have all this available for our investors in our website to make this very transparent to the market. Well, that's basically it. Here we have our investor relations team. These are the people that will always be available to talk to our investors, and especially to the new investors that came in, that want to follow the company, want to understand the business, and to check the projections and everything. So we have Odivan Kargnin, that is our CFO and investor relations officer. Odivan, that's say hi to everyone.
Hi.
Evandro, that is our accounting and investor relations manager. He's the one that has all the documents, all the bureaucracy, and he has all the numbers of the company. Evandro, you're here. Say hi. Fale oi aí, Evandro.
Hi.
Okay, Evandro. Marcos Souza, he's the finance manager of the company. He's responsible for all the numbers and projections. Together with Emmanuel Trevisol, that is the financial analyst, they are the ones that have all the financial model, the projections. So he will be able to serve you as you need in terms of financial projections. And we also have Alexandro, that he is the accounting and investor relations coordinator, and Mariciane Brugnerotto, she is the investor relations analyst. They are the ones that will be attending all the investors and all people that are interested in the company. So they are the ones that will be in the front line of the investor relations team. So that's basically it. As I mentioned, it was a very good quarter in terms of results. We are very satisfied with the results we had. And we believe that the results will be as strong as in the second quarter and the third quarter, since the volumes in this month, they are also very good. In July, we have already finished July, and the numbers were above our budget. So we expect the third quarter to be as good or better than the numbers we had in the second quarter.
Sure.
Yeah,
we have here all the directors of the company.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, I didn't introduce them to the investors. So basically, we had Odivan Kargnin. He's our CFO and investor relations officer. He's been in the company for 25 years already, and as an officer in the management team since 2004 for 16 years. So we've been working together since then. I'm the company's CEO, and I've been in the company for 16 years. And I'm CEO of the company since 2017. And before that, I used to be the COO, the Chief Operations Officer of the company for several years. We also have Henrique Zugman. Henrique is the Paper and Forest Officer. He is responsible for the paper and the resin business. He's been in the company for about 18 years already. And he's been in the management team for the last 3 years already, but he's been working in the paper business since the beginning, since he started in the company. He can say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, you have already talked to Henrique before. So, and then we have Lindomar Lima. Lindomar, he is responsible for the corrugated packaging business. And he is in the company for more than 20 years, I think 25 years, if I'm not wrong. And he has always been in the corrugated packaging business, and he's been in the management team since 2017 as well. Lindomar, say hi. No, diga oi.
Hi.
Okay, so that's Lindomar. And we also have Fabiano Oliveira. He is responsible for some corporate structure, people, strategy, controlling areas of the company. And he's also been in the company for more than 18 years, and he's in the management team since 2017 as well. Fabiano.
Hi.
Okay, thank you. So this is our management team, and we are very dedicated to making our company as profitable as possible, developing all the projects that we have in our current platform to make the company more competitive, reducing costs. And we expect it to be one of the most profitable companies in the country in the paper for packaging business after this investment cycle we are starting now. So, so we have some time now for questions that you might have. So I will open the room for any questions that you have about the numbers of this quarter. Okay, if there are no questions, we want to thank everyone for being with us and listening to our results of the second quarter, and we really appreciated that. And we, as I said, we are very happy with the results we had in the second quarter, especially when we consider the pandemic period and how difficult it was for many segments and for many companies in Brazil. We were able to have very good results, and this is basically because of the flexibility we have in our business. We can produce different kinds of paper in our paper machines, compensating segments that were not doing well, and also exporting more, taking advantage of the international markets and the current exchange rate. So thank you very much, and see you in the next quarter again. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.